In our last video, I talked about how trusts are actually one of the most fundamental and important legal entity types in the world that make our system, both financial and legal, work. And in this video, I'm going to attempt to explain that very briefly, what I meant by that. And so, in order to tackle this subject, we must make a distinction between the real world versus paperwork. Things like corporations, trusts, legal persons, businesses, accounts, these things only exist on paper. In the actual world where flesh and blood human beings exist, you'll never find a trust. There is no actual physical substance that you can hold in your hand and say, there is the trust. And we live in a system where hundreds of millions, and now that the whole world is connected, billions of people are all interconnected. And therefore, we must come up with certain legal devices, artificial entity types, in order to keep track of all of these things on paper, in order for the accounting to line up. Which is fine in and of itself, but what has happened over time is we have come to conflate the paperwork with the real world to a point where now most people are doing business with a legal person, as shown on the right here, and they have no idea that it's anything separate from their actual natural person as seen on the left. People think that they have a social security number that is referring to them as an individual human being. In reality, that is a business type that exists only on paper and actually has built-in contractual terms. Things like it agrees to pay X amount of taxes, and it agrees to play along with the rules that apply to publicly registered and controlled entity types. So what makes the trust so powerful is that we are taking ourselves on the left side as natural human beings, and we ourselves are creating a legal device to serve a third party. And every single human being can do this regardless of whether or not you have children to make beneficiaries. And there is massive power in doing this. There is almost no alternative as far as the entities that you can use in business that can make investments, do your estate planning, facilitate business on a large scale, that are created by you as a private individual. The legal person, LLCs, corporations, S-corps, these things are all created by the state, and we fill out a form and petition them for one of their pre-made entities. That opens it up to a whole different type of jurisdiction and regulation that the private individual is not subject to. Now, I realize that was a deep dive, but I know that you guys can handle it, and if you're hungry for more, follow us and watch our other content. Take care.